Peppa Pig may be a children's show, but tragedies still happen, even in the little piggies world. Did you know that several characters from this cartoon may be dangerously close to losing their lives? Grandpa Rabbit. Despite being adorable, Grandpa Rabbit is running out of time. Miss Rabbit's father is already a 76-year-old elderly man, and that is exactly the age when many serious health problems begin to appear. In fact, the life expectancy for men in England, which is where the Peppa Pig characters live, is 79 years. In other words, Grandpa Rabbit may truly be very close to passing away. Things get even worse when we remember that, unlike the other grandparents who appear in the series, he does not have a wife. It is very possible that Grandma Rabbit has already passed away, which is incredibly sad. Loneliness is a terrible thing, and it can make an elderly person's health even worse. So, we have some very bad news for Grandpa Rabbit. He is old, widowed, and lonely. All of those things combined could cause him to become seriously ill. It may only be a matter of time before a special episode is released in which Grandpa Rabbit closes his eyes and never wakes up again. Pretty sad, right? But he is only one of the 10 Peppa Pig characters we know are going to die.
It's time to have fun with us in another Cinewave.
Mummy Pig. It may sound unbelievable, but one of the residents of Peppa Town whose life is most at risk is Mummy Pig. She is not that old yet, and she does not appear to have any health problems, but there are clues suggesting that someone in town wants to take her life. We are talking about Mr. Wolf. The series has already dropped a few hints that, just like the big bad wolf from the story of the Three Little Pigs, Mr. Wolf wants to devour the pig family. In the episode The Little Boat, he and Daddy Pig are left alone on a boat, and it does not take long for Mr. Wolf to say that he is hungry and smile at Peppa's father as though he wants to eat him. But here's the thing. Daddy Pig may be a little silly sometimes, but he also has a very intelligent side and can tell that the Wolf family wants to eat his delicious pork. Because of that, Mr. Wolf may eventually change his target and focus on Mummy Pig instead. Peppa's mother is certainly very clever, but as far as we can tell, she still has not realized the truth about Mr. Wolf. That would make it easier to lure Mummy Pig into a trap and devour her. She had better start being extremely careful. Mr. Fox. Another character facing serious danger is Mr. Fox, Freddy Fox's father. The residents of Peppa Town think he is simply a shop owner, but his life is much more dangerous than that because Mr. Fox is secretly a professional thief. At this point, the series is barely even trying to hide it anymore. When Emily Elephant set up a sales stand, he tricked her into giving him all the things she was selling for free. Mr. Fox has also been seen sneaking around Grandpa Pig's backyard in the middle of the night. His plan was clearly to steal the chickens, but Peppa's grandfather managed to catch him in the act. Mr. Fox was lucky that time, but what if Grandpa Pig had become angry and tried to attack him? A life of crime is extremely dangerous, and every time Mr. Fox leaves his home to rob someone, he runs a serious risk of losing his life. Even so, Mr. Fox does not seem to have the slightest desire to live a more honest and less dangerous life, even though he has a son who would be left alone if he passed away. It seems as though the cartoon is deliberately setting up this tragedy so that, sooner or later, an episode about the end of Mr. Fox will be made. We imagine that in this episode, one of Mr. Fox's robberies would go wrong, and he would end up passing away while trying to fight the police. It would be the most serious episode in the cartoon, and would teach children an important lesson about why we should not waste our lives committing crimes. Pedro Pony. So far, we have only talked about adults whose lives are at risk for different reasons, but even some of the younger characters are in danger in Peppa Pig. Pedro Pony is one of the main examples. Most of us believe he still has his entire life ahead of him, but that may not be true. In the episode Hospital, Peppa's school class visits Pedro Pony in the hospital. Pedro is shown wearing a cast on his leg during the episode, suggesting that he had broken it. But here's the thing. Perhaps his condition is much more serious than it appears, and Pedro may actually have a deadly disease. In case you are wondering how an illness could cause Pedro to injure his leg, just consider that the injury might not have been directly caused by the disease, but could instead be a consequence of it. If his health condition has made Pedro weaker and caused his bones to become fragile, it would be very easy for him to accidentally break a leg. There are many illnesses that make people weaker, and many of them are incurable and potentially deadly. If Pedro is truly that sick, you may want to start preparing yourself to say goodbye to him. Would you be sad if that happened too? If so, leave a comment below saying #tragedy.
Wow!
Madame Gazelle. Of all the characters who may have cruel fates ahead of them, one person nobody expects to pass away is Madame Gazelle, Peppa's teacher. The reason her life is in danger is the exact same reason many people believe she will never die. Madame Gazelle is a vampire, and this is not just a theory. Even though very few people know about it, it is a fact that Peppa's teacher is a vampire. The moment that makes this the most obvious happens in a Halloween episode, when her reflection does not appear in a mirror, and even the narrator comments on how strange it is. You may be wondering, okay, but why does that mean Peppa's teacher is going to die? That is a fair question, considering that being a vampire means Madame Gazelle never grows old. However, it also means that Madame Gazelle is always at risk of being hunted down by a monster hunter. After all, if vampires exist in the world of Peppa Pig, then there must also be people who hunt them. She has avoided having any problems all these years only because nobody knew about her true nature. But what about now? Her secret would be very easy to uncover. Madame Gazelle has not changed at all since she taught Daddy Pig and Mummy Pig several decades ago. If a hunter discovers that there is a teacher in Peppa Town who should be around 60 years old but looks 30, he will immediately realize that she is a vampire and come after her. And when that happens, Madame Gazelle could end up with a stake driven through her chest. Peppa Pig. Can you believe that even Peppa, the star of the cartoon, could lose her life? Yes, it sounds crazy, but it is possible that the series has been setting up the little piggy's farewell for quite some time. More specifically, since 2025, when it was announced that she would be getting a new baby sister named Evie. Some people believe Evie was created simply because the series wanted to add a new member to the pig family. But what if that was never the real reason? What if Evie was created to become the new main character because the show is planning to make Peppa pass away? It is difficult to imagine why the cartoon would do something like that to one of the biggest icons in children's television, especially since nothing like this has ever been done before. And that is exactly the answer. No children's series aimed at kids this young has ever made such a bold decision. An episode in which Peppa simply dies would get everyone talking about the program. And now that Evie has been born, the series would not even need to end. They could simply change the show's name to Evie Pig and continue telling the pig family's story, showing them dealing with the grief caused by Peppa's tragedy and eventually overcoming it.
Miss Rabbit. We know that thinking about this makes many Peppa Pig fans sad, but Miss Rabbit is one of the characters who may be closest to reaching the end of her life in this cartoon. She is many people's favorite character, but that does not change the fact that Miss Rabbit works so much that she could literally die from exhaustion. Shop assistant, firefighter, helicopter pilot, and even children's television producer. Those are only a few of the dozens of jobs Miss Rabbit has. She definitely does not have any time to sleep or eat, and it is a miracle that she has managed to work so well for all these years. However, we have already seen signs that her body can no longer handle all of it. In the episode The Queen, she even faints several times. It seems like nothing more than a joke about Miss Rabbit becoming nervous around the Queen, but what if it is actually hiding the fact that she works so much that she passes out whenever she becomes extremely nervous? Can you imagine what would happen if Miss Rabbit fainted like that while working as a firefighter in the middle of a fire? She had better start taking care of herself, because at this point, doing so is absolutely necessary if she wants to stay alive. Police Officer Panda. Out of all the Peppa Pig characters, very few people remember Police Officer Panda, who spends his days protecting the town from criminals. We do not even need to look very far to explain why Panda is one of the characters most likely to lose his life. As a police officer, he has to confront any criminal who appears in Peppa Town. So far, Police Officer Panda seems to have been successful at his job. But how long will that last? Real pirates exist in Peppa's world, so how much longer will the town remain peaceful before a ship full of pirates invades it? When something like that happens, Police Officer Panda will have to stand on the front line to protect the citizens, and there is a very high chance that the poor guy could suffer a fatal injury. For all we know, Police Officer Panda may even be the one who ends up fighting Mr. Fox. Just imagine if the two of them end up taking each other out during that battle. Want to keep having fun with us? Then subscribe and turn on the notification bell.
Mummy Sheep. Susie Sheep's mother seems like a very happy person, so it is sad to think that her life may also be in danger. And do you know the worst part? Mummy Sheep seems to know this very well because, just like in Mummy Pig's case, it appears that someone extremely dangerous is coming after her. We see some very subtle hints of this in the episode Susie Goes Away, when Mummy Sheep becomes very upset after realizing that she will not be getting a job on the other side of the world. So far, that seems normal, since many adults go through situations like that. However, the situation becomes strange when Susie asks whether they are going to stay in Peppa Town for the rest of their lives, and Mummy Sheep sadly answers that they are, almost as if she has realized that she cannot leave the town. Could Mummy Sheep have tried to move away because she is being hunted by someone who wants to take her life? And could that same person have found a way to make her lose the new job? Grandpa Pig. Besides all these sad and surprising cases, we also have Grandpa Pig's situation. This is possibly the happiest case of them all. He is already quite old, so it makes sense that he may only have a few years left to live. Even so, Grandpa Pig's life will come to an end with him surrounded by the people he loves, because he has a large family and his wife is still alive. It is good to know that not every goodbye has to be sad.
The next step is right in front of you. 2 fun-filled videos waiting for your click. Thanks, and see you soon.